Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment. For that, let's bring in Landon Swan. He's a co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be here.
All right, so we're talking Uber. The stock's pulled back from those all-time highs, but Landon, it's pretty hard to argue with the company when you've seen it rise about 130% over the last 12 months or so. So, I mean, you guys got to have some positive data on this one, and maybe this is an opportunity on a pullback.
Yeah, I mean, this stock has gone from lows of, I think, around 20 this year. It touched up over 80, and now we're back in the low 70s. So it's been a fun ride for Uber investors so far this year with a little bit of a pullback. So if you're on the sidelines, yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at some of this data. I tell you, in the last quarter, their revenue was up 15%. The earnings per share over doubled. They've initiated a buyback. So there's a lot of good things happening from the company. When you look at mentions just overall, you know, they're up significantly on a year-over-year basis, over 40%. So very strong there. Obviously, that's good. And then when you look at kind of like the mind share, right? Like what percentage of the time when people think about ride sharing or food delivery are they thinking about Uber? It's about 60%, which is very significant. I mean, they are the one that they're the kind of the go-to. You know, I can remember for a while there it was Uber or Lyft, and you went back and forth maybe, but you lean towards Uber. Now it's just automatically Uber for most people that I know. They're also the highest in happiness, which is unbelievable. I mean, they're crushing some of these other ones. And, you know, generally people like to complain. This is kind of like airlines. If you're getting on social media to talk about an Uber, you're often complaining. So 54% is actually pretty good. I mean, and for context, you can kind of see where their competition is here. So, you know, overall, the data that we have looks pretty strong for them. We've been bullish for a while. We've issued, you know, numerous bullish alerts on this company. And a lot of the time, what we've been talking about, why we're so bullish on this company long term, isn't because they've got drivers in cars picking you up and they're taking a piece. It's this future of what's coming and the autonomous driving, which everybody's talking about right now. I mean, that's actually mentions of autonomous driving are at all-time highs following the Tesla full self-driving update and the robo-taxi announcement. So that plus, you know, Uber Eats has got the partnership with Waymo. They're trying it out in Phoenix. By the way, we were just in Phoenix and I saw one of those. It's really wild to see car driving around with no driver. I love it. But I think that's the future. That's kind of why people are so bullish on this company. And we just keep waiting on it. It's going to happen. Like it is going to happen where most cars that are on Uber, or all cars eventually, will not have a driver. You'll get food delivered by a driverless car, and it's going to have an incredible impact on not just Uber, but the whole industry. I mean, car companies, I think, are going to struggle because there's going to, every time you have a car that you own and you're not using it, you can go release it and have it go pick up people and deliver food for you and make money off of it. There's going to be more cars available to drive to riders. There's going to be lower fares. There's going to be better service, better pickup times, and higher profitability for Uber. So this is extremely bullish long term. It's just a matter of when is it going to happen. And this last update from Tesla really kind of teases us that it's coming very soon. Technology advances extremely fast. So, you know, again, just a matter of time, and it's going to be a game changer for Uber. I think for Tesla and for a lot of the car companies that don't have that capability, it's going to be pretty bad.
Landon, how do you go from cash burn to cash cow this quickly? What major variable? We had a lot of discussions on this show about Uber over the years and how they were going to get to profitability with either charging more or paying their people less. How did they do it? What's the variable that changed that brought this company to $3 billion in cash flow, to GAAP profitable, and to buying back shares? What happened?
You know, I think it's really just the fact that they have dominated the entire market, right? I mean, they are the industry leader at scale, and they are ruling that last mile mobility service. And, you know, once you get in that position, and now, I mean, every once in a while when I get an Uber, I will check Uber, and then I'll open up Lyft and just see. And you know, most of the time Lyft is cheaper, but I still book on Uber because their times are lower and it's just more convenient. And so once you get to that point where you're just absolutely dominating, you can tweak a lot of things. And when you have the scale that they have, a couple of really small tweaks multiply against each other, and then you can go, like you said, from negative to positive extremely quickly. So the scale, I don't think people understand the scale of this company and how well that they've become that industry leader. 60% mind share is a really big stat. If that continues to grow, it's just going to be further domination and further ability to, again, tweak those little bitty dials here and there that make it go better. And then once again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but once autonomous driving comes in, that's a switch that they're flipping. That's not a dial, and that's going to change everything. And then you're really going to see profitability.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Waymo that they've already got in use out west, but at the same time, you got an announcement in August from Elon Musk and Tesla as far as their autopilot and such, and robotaxis. So maybe that's just going to be a lot quicker than we anticipated. But Landon, when you look at this one, the pullback that we've seen from those all-time highs last month, if you were going into earnings today, what kind of score would you guys have based on your data?
Yeah, right now we're about plus 37 last time I looked. So, bullish. We'll see. They still got a little bit of time before earnings come, so anything could happen. But if we're here or we pull back any more, I think that just makes it a juicier trade. Again, most of the bullishness that we've got is long term. I do think that there is a potential threat out there that, maybe the only real autonomous driving car out there is Tesla, and they could have a lot of leverage over Uber. They could make their own service. They could, ban Uber from using Teslas. I mean, there could be some fights in the future. So Uber's not a guaranteed winner, but if you're going to bet on anybody in the space, it's definitely Uber. And so right now, yeah, going into earnings, if they were today, we'd be plus 37. We got to wait a little bit and see where we're going to be. But barring all-time highs between now and then or any kind of shakeup in the data, I'd say we're likely going to be pretty bullish.
All right.
May 7th earnings.
May 7th earnings. All right, great stuff. Thanks, Landon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Landon Swan, co-founder at Likefolio, breaking down the data for us. Positive as we've seen over the probably the past year.